Welcome back to another rousing installation of ranking a park's entire roller coaster lineup. The park I'm taking on today is quite the doozy. Canada's Wonderland in Vaughan, Ontario has one of the largest roller coaster lineups in the entire world with 18 operating roller coasters, which very few parks in the world have ever achieved. I got to make my first ever visit to this park fairly recently, and I was lucky enough to spend multiple days exploring this place. And let me just say, I love this park. Like, even putting the roller coasters aside, I just love the atmosphere. I think it's just a great place to be. Now, from a coaster enthusiast perspective, it is a bit daunting if you want to try to ride everything. But from a more moderate perspective, not everything here is worth riding. Obviously, seeing 18 roller coasters at a park is exciting, but when you really step back and look at the big picture, you're like, how many of these out of the 18 are like actually good? And the short answer to that is that this park is very, very bottom heavy, but the coasters that are at the top are amazing. Definitely a lot to talk about here, so if you're ready, then I'm ready to rank all 18 roller coasters at Canada's Wonderland. Now, I will preface this list with saying, if you don't already know, there are a lot of kids coasters at this park, as well as a lot of models that you see everywhere, like boomerangs, SLCs, etc. But we are committing to the bit, and we are going to talk about all of them no matter what. So starting at number 18, this is going to be a minute, we have Taxi Jam, aka the Great Pumpkin Coaster with a different name. You find these at quite a few of the Cedar Fair parks. They're cute, they're fun for kids. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have fun on them, but I'm about to turn 30, so I feel like for my dignity, I cannot put it any higher than this. Now, at number 17, I feel like I might catch some flack for putting it this low, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart that Wild Beast might be one of the worst roller coasters I have ever had the displeasure of experiencing. I can work with a rougher wood coaster. I don't discriminate against them wholeheartedly. You'll see, I literally have one later on in this list quite a bit higher. But I got off of this ride questioning why I was doing this to myself. Why do I subject myself to rides like this? I don't think a single person clapped coming back into the station. Everyone went, ow, why? Why is it like that? Why does my head hurt now? This bad boy opened back in 1981, but it runs as if it is much older and hasn't been touched in even longer. It's got a height of 82 feet, a top speed of 56 miles per hour, and a little over 3,000 feet of track, and I hated every foot of it. Actually, the lift hill was fine. I'll give it to the lift hill. My pipe dream is that they would RMC this thing someday and further stack the top of the lineup at this park, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. At number 16, we have everyone's favorite hunk of junk, the Vekoma SLC Flight Deck. This is just your standard run-of-the-mill SLC, but somehow has a reputation of being one of the worst. A reputation so bad that I will out myself right now and say I didn't actually write it. I know that's terrible that I'm ranking it as if I did, but I don't need to know that I'm putting it this low. I even surveyed everybody. I'm like, is it really that bad? Everyone's like, it's really that bad. So I feel confident in my placement here. And what's even funnier is up until recently, this was directly next to a Zamperla Volare Time Warp, which was also one of the most hated roller coasters out there. So like this whole section of the park was kind of just like a no zone for me. Genuinely, if I never ride another SLC other than the one at Maurice Piers ever again, I will be just fine with that. Keeping with the old Vekoma theme, our number 15 spot goes to Silver Streak, which is a suspended family coaster. The old kind, not the new kind. It's just under 50 feet tall, max speed 26 miles per hour, so definitely family friendly, assuming you are okay with your family members smacking their heads all over the place. Thank God Vekoma got so much better, right? And now for a far superior wooden coaster that opened in 1981. At the number 14 slot, we have Ghoster Coaster. This is another coaster that we see at a lot of parks throughout the chain, and like, they're fun. They're fine. They're nothing crazy. It's got a height of 41 feet, top speed 35 miles per hour. Really cute little thing. Actually, I remember it having like a spot of legitimate airtime, which was cool and unexpected. For lucky number 13, we have Fly, not to be confused with Fly. This is not that Fly. That Fly is much better. This Fly is fine. This one is like actually a fly, like the bug, not flying. Are we all on the same page? Okay. It's a Mock Rides Wild Mouse, about 52 feet tall, 35 miles per hour. Lots of coasters in that stat range at this park. I mean, like, it's a Wild Mouse. It's fine. I've never been, like, the biggest fan of wild mice. But this one's very middle of the road. It's fine. For number 12, we are going back to classic Vekoma models. For Bat, their boomerang. My brain gets very confused with the fact that this is called Bat, and like there's also an Aero suspended coaster in this park, and like typically my brain associates Bat with the one at Kings Island. You get what I'm saying. It's a standard Vekoma boomerang. Nothing too crazy to talk about here, and well, we have a long list of rides to get through, so we'll move on. We are rapidly approaching the top 10 out of the 18 roller coasters in this park, and there's hardly been anything original yet. Everything's like a clone or something, so, you know, just because you have 18 roller coasters doesn't necessarily mean you have 18 amazing ones. But like I said, when we get to the top is extremely strong. So at number 11, we have Dragonfire, a classic Aero looping coaster. 78 feet tall, top speed 50 miles per hour, goes upside down 4 times. It's worth noting that this ride went through a very major change in 2018 when it went from Dragonfire, spelled F-I-R-E, to Fire, spelled F-Y-R-E. Exciting stuff. So now into the top 10 roller coasters at Canada's Wonderland. And I can't even believe I'm saying this, but at number 10, I've got a kids coaster. Snoopy's Racing Railway, which is one of their newest coasters at the park, created by Art Engineering. It is a family launch coaster, super cute. Funny enough, I've actually done all 3 versions of this ride that are like spread out between Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland, and all the way out in Austria. It's a perfect little family coaster, goes around twice, 31 miles per hour is the top speed. It's just perfectly fun, well themed, excellent addition. Now for number 9, and let me just say, just because this landed in the top 10 of the park does not mean I was not let down by it. At the number 9 spot, we have Wonder Mountain's Guardian. I absolutely love indoor coasters, and I loved the concept that like, ooh, we're going inside of a mountain. And I had actually done Primordial before this, and that ride like really blew me away. Like, it's really fantastic, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like that. It was not like that. It was actually just in a horrific state, actually. So like Primordial, this ride is a shooter game, but it felt like almost every train that was cycled had guns not working. So it made the line move just tremendously slow, and the screen quality was really bad. It was like silent while you were playing this game. There was no like exposition about like what's going on here. Like, I don't know. It just felt very hollow, which sucked because I was really excited to ride this. However, spoiler alert ahead, the drop track is freaking awesome. That is a great drop track. I would love to see them throw like a bunch of money into making this thing better, because it has potential. I've seen what can be done with this kind of roller coaster inside a mountain. Just do that. At number 8, we're gonna stay in the mountain, and we're going to talk about Thunder Run, which is a Mach-powered coaster that is just way too much fun for no reason. I loved this ride. This was more what I was hoping Wonder Mountain's Guardian was gonna be like. It had some like practical stuff inside, which was really cool. I think the most interesting thing I learned about this ride is that at one point it was like not in the mountain. It got moved to be in the mountain. It was just out on the midway originally. I think being in the mountain definitely enhances it. Like, I'm trying to picture not doing that and it would not be the same. Great little family coaster. And I think we are almost about to start talking about thrill coasters, so hang on. Before we do, we have another clone to talk about at the number 7 spot, and that is Backlot Stunt Coaster. This is just like the one over at Kings Island or the one at Kings Dominion, but I will say, I thought this one was the best. I thought it ran the best and everything was working, which was great. Never ever sleep on Backlot. When I tell you those launches are super punchy and this ride will make you gray out, I mean it. Anyway, I'm really glad I have Backlot Stunt Coaster completion now. Very exciting stuff. Okay, now we're gonna talk about a thrill coaster again. Hooray! At the number 6 spot, we have Mighty Canadian Mindbuster, which I like to describe as a tale of 2 rides. Half number 1, you have wonderful pre-cut track from Gravity Group, some fantastic airtime, smooth as can be. And then you hit the turnaround and you are just getting thrashed all over the place, and you hit one of the craziest helixes I've ever experienced. It was really funny to see like the dichotomy in the group where like 50% all thought that the first half was better and then 50% like swore that the second half was way better. You can probably guess which half I was in. I would actually love to see Gravity Group go back in and just, you know, finish the job, do the rest of the ride, because it's actually really fun. It's got a height of 90 feet, top speed 56 miles per hour, nearly 4,000 feet of track. And may I just add that I love the name of this ride, Mighty Canadian Mindbuster. Like, what a great name. We've made it to the top 5. If you're still here, congratulations. I'm impressed. That was a whole lot of nonsense to get through. The top 5 at this park is very, very, very strong. And I would honestly humor arguments to reorder these in lots of different ways, and I would respect it. So for number 5, I have Yukon Striker, the B&M dive coaster. Arguably one of the better dive coasters out there. This thing is massive. It's got a height of 223 feet. The drop is larger at 245 feet because it goes under a tunnel. Top speed of 81 miles per hour and 4 inversions. I will say, as much as I enjoyed this ride, it does suffer from this very common phenomenon with the dive coasters, where the first half has like everything, and then after the mid-course is like nothing. It honestly could have just hit the brakes right there, and it might have been better, honestly. For now, this is still tied for being the tallest dive coaster in the world, but it will be dethroned pretty soon by Tormenta, opening at Six Flags Over Texas next year. And you know what? This already feels like massive when you're on it, so trying to imagine adding almost 80 extra feet is kind of crazy. I think, honestly, funny enough, the standout moment for me on this ride was probably the vertical loop. It's like crazy intense. I know enthusiasts like to, bust on B&M for not being overly intense, but I would beg to differ. This is a great example. At the number 4 spot, we have what I have been calling Canadian Nitro, aka Behemoth. I thought this was so much fun. It's a B&M Hyper, 230 feet tall, top speed 77 miles per hour, over 5,000 feet of track. And I feel like as a resident Nitro lover, it shouldn't come as a surprise that I really enjoyed this. There's just so many similarities. I feel like the biggest one for me though is the helix. Any kind of downward helix like that pulls a lot of G's is just mwah, chef's kiss. This is also just a super gorgeous coaster to look at. I mean, come on. Look at the way those colors pop. It's beautiful. At number 3, I feel like I have to just say that this was very unexpected for me. I knew I would like this ride. I didn't know I would love this ride. I did not know I would put it in the top 3 at the park. And that would be Vortex, the classic aero suspended coaster. Look, I have enjoyed / loved every one of these coasters that I've done. However, this one just barrels over top of all the other ones. I don't understand how it was going as fast as it was, how it was as intense as it was, but I am not mad about it. It's got a height of 91 feet where it travels up the mountain, top speed of 55 miles per hour, and easily the most chaotic, crazy swinging I have ever experienced on one of these things. I love putting a classic older coaster this high on a list that has plenty of things that are much newer and more state of the art. I just think that this model of coaster is fantastic, and this particular one is just dynamite. I could easily see someone who doesn't really know what they're looking at getting in line for this thinking it's gonna be like a more chill experience, and it is so not that at all. And for that, Aero, we thank you. Now, something very special that happened when I visited Canada's Wonderland, I got to cross off my very last Giga coaster, and that would be the number 2 coaster at the park, Leviathan. This thing is a beast. It's got a height and drop of 306 feet, top speed 92 miles per hour, and about 5,500 feet of track. This thing literally sprawls all over the place. You drive up to Canada's Wonderland and it's just everywhere. The airtime on this thing is so fantastic. Specifically, I loved very early on in the ride, there was a speed hill that banked afterward, and I just absolutely loved that part of the ride because you're going so fast, arguably too fast to be taking that kind of hill. I was just so excited to get on this thing, and it didn't disappoint at all. Now, while Leviathan got to enjoy its tenure as King of Canada for quite some time, it has since been dethroned by something much smaller but much more mighty. The number 1 coaster at Canada's Wonderland, and quite literally the entire country, is Alpenfury. Guys, when I say that this was a shocker to me, I cannot emphasize that enough. I knew the ride was going to be good. I knew I would like it. I did not know that it was going to be one of the best roller coasters I have ever been on. It felt like almost everything that bothered me about premier coasters just went away with this ride. The trains didn't bother me as much. The forces felt right. The pacing was perfect. They nailed it. standing at a height of 164 feet, top speed 72 miles per hour, and of course, one mountain to shoot through. I seriously cannot say enough good things about this ride. Literally right out of the station, you take this little tiny launch into what is one of the craziest airtime moments ever. Launch through the mountain and pull up into like one of the most intense top hats I've ever done, and then proceed to get tossed around for the next minute of your life, getting airtime in ways that I didn't even know were possible, and somehow not feeling repetitive. I would call this a huge win. This to me is like Premiere's holy grail, like their showcase piece. If I'm Premiere and I want to show people what I can do, Alpenfury is the ride. So there you have it, everybody. All 18 roller coasters at Canada's Wonderland ranked. Now, the more roller coasters there are at a park, I feel like there's more room for debate about what's better, what's worse. And I know how much Canadians love this park, and everybody's got opinions, I'm sure. So please leave them in the comments below. I welcome the debate, of course. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.